Considering how well they're doing in the Championship, today we are going to go over Enzo Maresca's 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and also the 3-2-4-1. Every single formation he has used at Leicester this season. The video is going to be a bit of a longer one, but it's going to be a very complete one. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, especially if you're a Leicester fan. You're absolutely cooking this season. Let's have some happiness. The first up is going to be Leicester, but as you can see, I mean, we're going to do what they're going to do in real life. Go right back up to the Premier League, as deserved. They've been absolutely remarkable this season, and as you can see, it's quite comfortably over Leeds in second place as well. Ipswich Town are going to finish in 9th. Not good as a local, but it is what it is. But more importantly, we also win the Carabao Cup, which I think is just as big for a team like Leicester. Meaning it's going to be a double winning season in one season again with 0 signings. And going over to the Sky Bet Championship, we're going to get a very good understanding here of why we went up. I mean, the team is absolutely nuts. A very strong team for the Championship, regardless of whatever we can say. Jamie Vardy with 31, Iheanacho with 30. We've got Mavididi coming in with 23, a 7.79 for Vardy, 7.73, and Ndidi is 7.37. Top 3 assisters, most player in the matches. I mean, there is not a world where we don't go up. The team is absolutely incredible, and the tactic is even better. Now, with the 3 teams we're going to test with today, I'm going to show you and make sure it's clear what formation I use for what team. So typically, majority of the games Leicester go into is going to be with a 4-2-3-1. So the 4-2-3-1 is tested with this Leicester team. These are the results with that 4-2-3-1. The stats, as you can see, we're going to feature in a lot of them. The most points per game, the most goals, the most shots for, most possession as well. Defensively, we weren't awful, but definitely room for a little bit of improvement. But because we were so good in every other area, it didn't even really affect us. Going over to the data hub again, a very important of any team, it is going to be just over a goal conceded, but again, we score over 3, so really doesn't matter at all. Over 16 shots every single game, an 88.96% pass completion, and attacker win ratio edging towards 80. There's only one game to really watch, isn't it? The Carabao Cup final. We actually went 2-0 up in this game. I remember playing it. Ndidi backstick, and it's an absolute wonder ball and a wonder header. And to be honest, we were in full control of this game. As you can see, we go through and we score again. And Ndidi does well there to sort of keep that alive. Vardy into the box, and at this point I switched to the defensive variant, and I'm glad we did, because although, well, actually after we conceded this goal, I switched to the defensive variant, sorry. They scored this one, which to be fair is a great goal. They then started battering us a little bit, as you can see by the stats. I mean, it was us who should have won it, but they did get back into the game. So I popped over to the more defensive one, which in my opinion is the 3 at the back, because obviously you got 3 centre-backs, and we sealed the game out. So that's the only time I used the other one, just to make that very clear. But this is going to be Parma, obviously linked with the main man of the video as well. And as you can imagine with Parma, we absolutely cooked. I mean, back into the Serie A already. And if we go over to the Serie B thing, we can actually go and have a little look right now. So we only lost 8 games. We won 27 and drew the other 3. In terms of the actual ratings of the players, though, I mean, we didn't convincingly get into any of the top goal scorers. Not the average rating. We were obviously rank 1 and rank 3. Assist-wise, 17 assists. Clean sheets, an interesting one, because we actually are rank 1 on this occasion. So based off that, I imagine, as you can see, we're a lot more defensively solid with Parma. And again, this was with, definitely, I'm going to get this in, so before I forget, this was with the 4-3-3. So Leicester the 4-2-3-1, this was with the 4-3-3. The fewest conceded, the most clean sheets, the most dribbles being made, also the most shots, the most points, and the most goals. Absolutely remarkable stuff. And also the general performance, 2.55 goals per game, just under a goal conceded, over 15 shots every single game, an 89% pass completion, and attacker win ratio of practically 78%. So with this 4-3-3, probably a little bit of less possession, better defensively, and a little less goals, but it's definitely tit for tat. Some areas are stronger than the 4-2-3-1, whereas some, obviously, areas of the 4-2-3-1 will be stronger than this. To be honest, it comes down to what team you're playing as. One of the more comfortable games of the league over the season, a 4-0 win at home against Como. And as you can see, we got off to a bit of a flying start, to be fair. Quite direct, a good ball into the box and a great header. And we go again. All of the goals are going to come inside of the first half. They almost collapsed after that first goal goes in. That was one of the weirdest driven crosses I've ever seen, but a great ball and a great finish regardless. As you can see here, the movement of the players, we've got so many options going on. An incredible give and go there, drives it into the bottom right hand corner, and at this point I think they probably did give up, because they had enough time to let us go and score another one, as we are going to drive through the midfield again and actually go alone, and it's a very slow shot, but a very accurate one. Now, if there is a team you can get away with using a 3-2-4-1 with, it's definitely Manchester City, and as you can see right now, we win the Premier League, runners-up in the Champions League, we win the Super Cup, the FA Cup, and also the Community Shield, so it is a very, very good season with this team, but I will say, with this 3 at the back one, if you're playing a sort of mid-table to relegation, I would favour the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1, to be 100% honest. Going over to the Premier Division, as you can imagine, we're going to feature in a lot of things. The most goals of Erling Haaland and Phil Foden, the highest rating with Haaland, Bernardo Silva and Jackie Grealish. Assist-wise, Grealish absolutely thrived in this system. Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne, most clean sheets, most player of the matches, and I'm sure, yeah, possession-wise also very good. Most points per game, most goals, most shots, fewer shots against, 63% of the ball, over 910 when it comes to the dribbles being made, the fewest conceded, and also the most clean sheets, which tells me this data hub is going to be outrageous. An 88% pass completion, over 21.5 shots every single game, only 0.89 conceded in the hardest league in the world, with a free back, which still is an achievement with Manchester City, and over 3 goals a game, basically 3.5. Very good season. And a Manchester derby for the FA Cup final where all of the goals come in the second half, funny enough. And we get things going, and after this, one goal goes in, which is a very tough one for Onana to concede. A bit unlucky there. We sort of just took the game to them. Luke Shaw, obviously, it rebounds off him. Can't really do too much about that. Martinez could have done something about that, though, as Haaland is never going to give up that opportunity and obviously presses him and does get quite the easy goal. Jack Grealish now more direct over the top into Haaland in a very comfortable, very easy Manchester derby final. Of course, over to your favourite part of the video, that is going to be the tactic breakdown. Again, we have got 3 today, so be sure to check them out. Also, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I want to quickly thank over the 2,500 people that have kindly come over to the Patreon, where they know what's good. They get the royal treatment. They get all 3 of these tactics in one simple download. They get early video, early tactic release. They get priority, which actually was one of these. Also, you are going to get access to the monthly giveaway, which at the moment is £100 on PayPal. So I would go over and check it out. There's loads of people getting involved, and it is a really good place to be. But let's talk about these player roles then. So it is going to be a sweeper keeper who is simply going to be on support. I like keeping the players in here because you can get a rough understanding of who played where. We're going to go for the inverted wing back on the right on support on Mark Titer. A central defender on the right, simply on defend. On the left is going to be the ball playing defender. Again, simply on the default. Don't really need to get too, jazzy with this back line. And the left back is going to be an inverted fullback, which is going to be Harry Winks, who played there for a fair few games. So that's quite interesting. Going over to the midfield is going to be a ball-winning midfield player on support, on take fewer risks, and next to him, indeed he suits this role so well, a box-to-box on support, on move into channels. On the left-hand side is going to be an inverted winger on attack, on take more risks and stay wider, and on the right is going to be a supportive winger, simply on take more risks and also get further forwards. In the midfield, most attacking one is going to be a default advanced playmaker, and to finish it off, the cherry on top, the advanced forward again, who is simply going to be on to default. Now, I've not misclicked, I've not forgot to add instructions. Some of these players perform best and most realistic simply on the default. You don't always need loads of instructions. Team instructions, again, a clean slate on the attacking, clean slate attacking. We are going to go with standard. We're going to pass into space. We're going to underlap right. Obviously, that makes complete sense with the inverted option, which we have on that side. We're going to focus play through the middle while playing out from the back. We're going to go with a shorter passing directness matched with a maxed out tempo, of course, to replicate this manager. We're going to be more expressive, run at defence. We're going to work the ball into the box. And a personal favourite of mine, we are going to go with low crosses. In transition, it's going to be a little bit different to what you're probably used to seeing. We're going to counter press. We're not going to counter. We're not going to leave it blank. We've got to hold the shape, and we're also going to place anybody across the back line while taking short goal kicks. Without possession, we are going to instantly go with the higher defensive line. This is going to be maxed out to the high press and line of engagement. The trigger press is also going to be maxed out to the max of the max. We're going to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. I do want to say, for those that struggle with playing a tempo like this, rest, train, simple. You'll be completely fine. Make sure you've got those 2 elements in place, and you're going to be able to play this way all throughout the entire season. And obviously make sure you've got good depth. We're going to trap outside, and lastly, we are going to step up more with the defensive line. So now this is the 4-3-3. Again, a very valid tactic, so be sure to get all 3 because, again, you're not forced to join the Patreon. You can obviously copy these click for click, but joining the Patreon makes it 10 times quicker for you guys, to be honest. So we are going to go over the goalkeeper, who is going to be a default sweeper keeper. The inverted wingback on the right is simply going to be on support on Mark Titer, and on the left it is going to be exactly the same. And I won't waste your time today. It is literally the same back 4, because although it is a different formation, they are very similar. The 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-3 almost can transition in between in the same game. So a lot of it is going to be the same, obviously apart from the midfield, where they're all going to be stacked in the same sort of area. So the deepest is going to be a ball-winning midfield player on support, on take fewer risks. Indeed, he remains as the box-to-box on support, on move into channels. On the left is going to be a Mazzala on support, on dribble more. The inverted winger on the left is now going to be on support, on take more risks, get further forwards, and also stay wider. And on the right is now going to be an inverted winger on support, on take more risks, get further forwards, and also stay wider. And to finish it off, Iheanacho, the advanced forward, on the default. So again, clean slate on attacking. We're going to go to fairly wide, pass into space, underlap right, focus play through the middle. Playing out from the back is a must in this system. Shorter, a slightly higher tempo in this 4-3-3. It's not as aggressive, to be fair. Be more expressive, run at defence, work ball into the box, and also low crosses. In transition, it's going to be exactly the same. So the counter press, the hold shape cannot change in this one either, because that is literally his style. We're going to play to anyone across the back line and take short goal kicks. And lastly, out of possession, the higher line, the high press and line of engagement, much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, step up more, and trap outside. Let's get into the free back. It's a bit of a bad one. And this is where things get a little bit tasty, because this is obviously going to be your 3, your 2, your 4, and your 1. So definitely very attacking. It is going to be the sweeper keeper, who is obviously going to be on support, the wide centre-back on the default for the right and also the left, and to cover in the middle, a central defender on cover. Now, although I say this is very attacking, it also can defend really, really well, so be sure to also get it for that reason, because you could also drop these wingers down to almost form a very negative-looking system. On the right is going to be a DM on support, on take fewer risks, dribble less, and also tackle harder. And next to him is going to be a ball-winning midfield player on support, simply on the default. On the left-hand side is going to be the inverted winger on support, on take more risks, get further forwards, and also stay wider. And on the right is going to be Jamie Vardy as the winger, on support, on take more risks, and also get further forwards. In the middle, the first one on the right is going to be a default attacking midfield player, and on the left is going to be a default shadow striker. And it remains unchanged, but it is also going to be the advanced forward on attack, who simply doesn't need to be changed, because we need one man to score the goals, and in this formation we potentially got 5. Team instructions, again, clean slate, but this time it is going to be set to positive. We're going to go with fairly wide, pass into space, playing out from the back is going to be much needed, shorter, the higher tempo, work ball into the box, low crosses, run at defence, and also be more expressive. So although it is free at the back, we're still going to fully back the way he does play, because obviously we're trying to get it as realistic as what he can. It was quite hard picking out which one he played the most, but from what I've seen recently, the 4-2-3-1 is the most commonly used one, but he does use this occasionally. In transition, we are going to go over and talk about the counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks and also the centre-backs while taking short goal kicks. Lastly, out of possession, we are going to go with the standard line, the high press line of engagement, much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, step up more, and also trap outside. And that's going to complete for you guys 3 very good variants, all different formations of Enzo Maresca, as requested for absolutely ages now. Sorry it took so long, but I've been getting a lot of pressure over on the Patreon now saying, Josh, I've requested it, make sure you do it. Here it is, finally. So hope you boys have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.